Hey everyone, I'm going over how to install WinCollect on QRadar Community Edition. So you can see here, this is our QRadar install Community Edition right up there. And I'll be going over to Fix Central. Um, Clear this out. I'm going to go back to the main screen to show you guys how to do this. So when you load up Fix Central, the link's up here. I'll also include it in the video. You will want to select QRadar Sim, because that's what we're running. There's no community edition section, but that's okay. The installed version, they don't do incremental ones. The 730, that's what we're running on. That'll be fine. It's actually 731, but it's not an issue in Linux because it only runs on Linux. So now that we got it here, we're going to select text and then WinCollect. That's going to load up a page here, and we'll scroll down. So what we're going to need is the x64 installer, so 3, and at the time this was released 12.18, so very new. And the SFS, which is a squash file that will actually install WinCollect onto the QRadar box. So I'm going to open it in a new tab. It's going to wait. You're going to need an account to actually download these. I'm already logged in, but that's something to keep in mind. We got the link right here, and instead of downloading it and then SFC or syncing it across, I'm just going to right click, copy the link, bring over a terminal here. This is our QRadar box I'm SSH'd into right now. So then I'm going to do wget into the temp folder. Oops. It's going to start downloading. So we got that saved. I'm going to pull this off to the side, and we're going to download the EXE for actually WinCollect. Let's go over here. And then we will click on the EXE itself. You click download. You can see I already downloaded it, but as an example. So once that's done, we're going to pull back over our terminal. And what we're going to need to do first is make a directory called updates. I've already made this, so it's probably going to error out. That's okay. We're going to mount our file. It's squash, so we need to tell it what type it is. And then the file, whoops. And I'm going to tab to fill it in. Type in media and then updates. So it mounted it, so now we're going to launch the installer. I've already installed it, so it's going to probably error out, and I'm not going to go through it again, but it's going to ask, do you want to perform this update once this finishes? And I'm going to click no, but you would normally click yes and go through, and it's going to ask you to do a full deploy at the end of it, or if it will automatically do it. If you click no on accident, or if you don't want to at that time, you'll need to go back into the admin console, click advanced, and then click on deploy full config. Open up terminal again, click no on that. It's going to run the stuff to exit. Actually, it looks like it's almost trying to install it. Whoops. Yeah, it looks like it maybe installed something. Yeah, it's doing like a full deploy. Interesting. Never ran into that before. Maybe because I did capital N. like it's just waiting for it to finish the deploy. Keep trying to scroll and it keeps doing that. It's interesting. Might be a bug with one of their install scripts. This will vary on the time that it takes to install. I have this running on a PCI Express SSD, and then 6 gigs of RAM, and then a quad core, so it has quite a bit of resources. So it might take a little longer in somebody else's setup, but that's okay. Looks like we're just about back up. Connection restored on there. Probably gonna air out again, is my guess. Oh, it logged me out. I want to pull this to the side to log in. Looks like it might be messing up because I'm in the middle of the deploy trying to log in. Yeah. We'll let that finish. Should be just about there. Still loading up the rest. Looks like it's good. Normally it'll always say this. It could be I got a notification that the deploy was successful or something like that. We'll leave that. We don't need this anymore, so I'm moving that to the side. Our window's refreshing. I'm gonna probably have to log in again, is my guess. Let's go and let's try and log in here. This is a new domain controller I just built for this example, but it could be a Windows 10 box, domain controller, it doesn't matter. Typically you'd set this up on some kind of server and then forward the logs to the server, and this would forward them in. I'm going to close out of this. It says 2016, it's really 2019. I think it's because it's so new, it's having issues with it. Let's try this again. There we go. So I'm going to pull this to the side, log in. So it's loading up here. So everything looks good on this side. We are gonna move this off to the side, and we're going to start, well, first, actually, I'll set up the keys. So we're going to click Authorize Services, and that's going to bring up a window for our keys, essentially. And I have some in there right now, so I'm not going to show them all, because with them you can control access to the API and the backend stuff. So we're going to call this WinCollect, since I already have one called this. And you're going to want to set it to only WinCollect, because if you set it higher, they're going to have access to more privileges, and you can control stuff through the backend API, which we don't want to grant access if it's not needed, least privilege. So no expiration on this. I'm going to create the service. I'm going to pull this to the side. And then I'm going to bring it up, and I'll show you what it looks like. So it might be a little hard to see. This will be our WinCollect agent, or our box. Here, I'm going to shrink the key just to show you the whole thing. We'll bring that down. So this would be the name of it, who it's authorized by, the role is WinCollect, and the security profile. I only have admin in the security profiles. It would limit access to certain log sources and networks and stuff like that. I'm going to move this to the side for now, and we're going to start the installation of the agent on the server. So we'll click over to the server side. I've already transferred the exe on here, so we'll double click on this. We'll click next. You can type whatever you want in here. I normally just leave it blank. This would be a managed agent is what we want to do, because then that way QRadar can update it, change settings on it all from the console instead of having to log into each box. It's more scalable if you ever were to scale it out. You're probably not going to scale it out in the community edition, but it's just best practice. This is going to be the token that we just created. So I'm going to type that in here. I'm going to double check that. So that looks good. This is going to be the QRadar console IP address. We're going to create a log source. This is going to be the WinCollect log source. So we'll just do this. And then I normally like doing the name, like what it's for. So we'll do that there. And then we'll do the IP address of the QRadar box or the event collector that we're sending it to. Since it's community edition, everything runs on one appliance. So we're going to send that. Oh, whoops. I'm doing directory service because this is an AD controller, domain controller. So we're going to click next. These you can leave default typically. This we're going to leave default. We don't have enough EPS to actually handle this, so we don't have enough EPS for this, but we're going to leave it there. Leave this all the same. This will be the install command if you ever want to change it. It gets saved in the text file there. Everything looks good, and we're going to click install. This normally takes like 30 seconds. I like to restart it after. It's not required, but it's kind of like my own best practice when you ever install new services and stuff. So while that's going, we can see it's already adding the stuff in the back end. So we're going to deploy these changes. There might be more, but for now we're going to do these. The box is restarting. It's just about there. Okay, that's looking all good. we're going to click on WinCollect. It's going to open a new tab. Most of the time it'll auto-discover it because, oh, let it restart first. I think it's because I had this in here before. So it's not going to want to auto-discover it the second time. That's okay. I'm going to pull this to the side and we're going to open a new window to add it. Oh, whoops. Saving those settings there. Okay, we're going to click add. I'm going to move this window back over. So this is kind of all the default stuff and we're going to keep it pretty much the same. We're going to make the name for it. Don't have it saved there. So I got to get the name again. Randomly generated, so it's kind of a pain to. I think we can copy and paste this out of here. Whoops. Yep. Okay, so we got the name on here, the host name, and then we're just going to call this like WinCollect agent installed on this box. I like to be a little descriptive about this, so we're going to do WinCollect, add this. Leave all this the same. This part we can fill in what version it is. So I'm going to put down the version we downloaded. And this can be Windows Server 2019. I don't know the build number, so we're going to leave it off. But so we added it there. We're going to have to deploy these changes, I believe. Let's double check. Refresh that window. Whoops. Yeah. That should be the WinCollect. Yep. So it just finished. Let's check this out. So you can see it's just like normal. We have it in here. It's saying no communication. We'll have to look at that. Could be it just hasn't pulled yet. Let's do show events. Nothing there. So it is having a slight issue. It's enabled. Let's copy the build number from here. This is the same version. I don't think that's it, but. Let's go back to the server. Another restart. Move this out of the way. See if we need to deploy or not. And that looks like the restart fixed it, I think. It's taken a second. Oh, yeah, okay. So it's right here. To speed it up, I think it was because it takes 5 minutes to pull. So I changed these to 1-1. If you have a lot of them, I wouldn't do that. And the default, this is a default Autodiscover one, and it's normally 5.5, so. And we're getting running, so let's do show events. We should be able to get some status messages from WinCollect. Nothing yet. Could still be sending them. Oh, it stopped it. Interesting. It's running again. Pull this aside here. Let's log in. Take a look at the agent. Oh, whoops. That's right. Let's try show events again. Let's try and restart this one more time. Yep, there we go. Interesting that it took that much effort to get the status messages. So now that we got that going, let's move our box. Let's close some of these windows. Let's move our QRadar box over here. The server's restarting, that's fine. We need to add a log source now. So we're going to go to log sources, pull this down. So I got a bunch of them. We're going to add a new one for the server. And we're going to call this, I already got it kind of saved. We'll call it WinServer. Description, we're going to make a matchup. This is going to be the name of the host name of the box. Sometimes it's IP, depending on what the payload is parsing. For Windows servers, I've never seen it do the IP. I've always seen the host name. So we'll leave that there. I'm going to change this to Microsoft. And we want security event log. That's what we're utilizing. If you have other servers or you want to try and parse more events, you can add different DSMs depending on what it is or log source type. This is going to be a WinCollect setup. And this is a domain controller, so we're going to have it look it up here. Cool. This is bad practice what I'm doing right now because that's a domain admin account. Normally on a normal install, you'd want to make this like a WinCollect or something and then just make it a domain user. I'm going to log in. We'll leave all this the same. Scroll down. We want security, we want system, application, and directory service. That's what we had on the install. manually go down again. Everything here, let's leave it the same. If you find you're going over your EPS, you can adjust like what kind of events you're taking. For now, we're just going to leave those the same. We're going to choose the new WinCollect agent we just did. Everything else down here, again, the same. We don't need an extension. And if we want, just for the heck of it, we'll put it in the servers group. We'll save it. Oh, I'm going to put that here. Forgot about that. So that's going to be the event collector. And we're doing TCP, so then that way you're not going to lose a connection because of a three-way handshake. We'll save that guy. So that's all good. I'm going to move that out of the way. And we should get a prompt to do the change, essentially. Sorry about that. And that's the guy right there. So let's view details to make sure it's right. That's that new log source. So let's deploy the change. And we should almost have it once we do that. This is logged out, that's good. Because we're going to test to make sure it works. Just about done here. And it looks good on that side. So let's go to log activity. I'm going to pause it here real quick. Lots of informationals. Let's do log source. Win server, and we want to do the actual Win server, not the WinCollect agent. And yeah, let's refresh this to make sure we're getting events. Could be caching. Let's set this to real time. Let's start to mess with the box a little. Let's fail the login. Okay. Login successfully. Got a couple events coming in. It's not in real time, but it's pretty close. So let's do a quick filter for an event ID. Let's do a 4624 successful login. Let's do that in the last 5 minutes. So you can see we got 2 successful logins that occurred just like 30 seconds ago. These are for NA accounts. We should be seeing ours pop up here like momentarily. Might be taking a minute here. Okay, 10. So we got 3 new ones showing up there, and you see 1 for administrator. That's the login we just did. For the heck of it, let's see if we can find those failed logins. So we'll add 4625. Two failed logins. You didn't parse the username. They did occur at the same time that we did that though. It's for an account failed to log in. And the account name is here, so it looks like it's just a parsing problem why I didn't save it. That can be fixed though. That's really about it. If you have any questions, just comment, let me know, and I can try to answer them. Otherwise, thanks for watching the video, and like and subscribe. And if you guys have any other questions or ideas on like what you need done or like on QRadar, I can look at making another video. And that's it. Have a great day.